Last time we saw Beerus' inclusion in the story, with Goku becoming the Super Saiyan God, and Vegeta even going along to Beerus' planet too to train to get that form for himself. But as for Turles, it seems like he can't unlock that form, but maybe there's something different in store for him. We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 6 of What If Turles Survived. Obviously Turles wants to get to Beerus' planet, because that way he can get even better training. But he still doesn't know what he's doing and how to even impress Beerus like that. Obviously he continues his normal training on Earth. And even gets a little bit of combat because he faces the Frieza Force when they try to get the Dragon Balls, stopping them pretty easily and stopping Resurrection F, thankfully. But still, none of this is really going to help him with his main goal. We even get to the Universe X tournament, and this still isn't really a big deal. One thing Turles does have to actually show off here is the fact that he can use Godly Ki now, since at the very least, the rituals seem to unlock that for him. And he channels that as a Mighty Saiyan, which makes him incredibly powerful. But still, he's being surpassed by Goku and Vegeta, who have gotten Super Saiyan Blue by now, and have gotten a much better control in it, since it kinda has been a while. So, even with Turles' great power, it's still not going to match Goku and Vegeta's. Universe 7 does win this tournament, with the team being pretty much the same, except Turles replaces Boo. The order for the tournament is probably going to be different too, and obviously the fights will be different, but it's not really going to be worth covering because in the end, the outcome is pretty much the same. Goku versus Hit, with Goku showing off Blue Kaioken. And Turles recognizes Kaioken as well, the same power he fought against long ago. And he can't believe how much these two are growing. And seeing Goku use Kaioken makes Turles wonder. Maybe he has to reinvent himself. Goku went back to his roots. He would have never thought to see Goku use Kaioken again, but he went back to get that. He reinvented it. He made it something new. And Turles is known for a while. With this form, he's had to reinvent himself. There's always been some sort of higher power that he couldn't access. He knew it was in there, and even though he has perfect control over Mighty Saiyan right now, he knows this isn't the full potential of it. Even now, combined with Godly Ki, he knows he could still go beyond this. Like, the form hasn't even changed, it's just imbued with Godly Ki now. This isn't a separate form, it's like Goku using Super Saiyan with Godly Ki at the same time. Turles has to figure out something soon, or he's going to be left behind. Let's shift over to the future timeline for a bit. Trunks' story goes pretty much like normal. He does wonder where Turles is, but never bothers to search for him because he has no clue of where he could be, and it's probably not really that important, so he doesn't worry about it. But everything in his timeline continues exactly the same. The androids are gone, Cell's been stopped, and he even encounters Deborah and Bobbity. And this here does actually cause a big change. With the Universe X tournament going pretty much like normal, and the fact that there's time travel in the first place, Goku Black does still appear with Zamasu. Although, this is where things diverge a little bit more. At least in the manga, it's implied that Goku Black didn't attack right away after the Buu Saga stuff. So, before Goku Black even faces Trunks, somebody else arrives on Earth that catches his eye. He wonders if this is related to Bobbity at all, but it isn't. So, he goes to where he senses that power. He contacts Zamasu, and Zamasu teleports to the planet too. A spaceship draws close to Earth, and a very familiar looking face steps off, confusing Goku Black and Zamasu because it looks like Goku. But Goku's dead in this timeline, and that doesn't make sense. He shouldn't be here. Also, why is he wearing that? The person that they're looking at, it's future Turles, donning his old armor again too. After all this time, he finally felt something strong on Earth. When he sensed Trunks fighting Deborah, that's what tipped him off. But he encountered this instead, seeing what appears to be Kakarot. But something's off about Kakarot. He's changed. The two Goku doppelgangers stare each other down, confused as to who the other is. But Turles can tell by this guy's demeanor and everything. He's not Kakarot, just a simple look-alike. He asks if they can kindly show him where Kakarot is because that's the reason he came back here in the first place. He sensed a strong power and he's been waiting to come back, waiting for some sort of interesting battle. What, does he mean Goku? Goku's long gone. And this interests the two of them too. Who is this mortal? He feels different than the others in terms of his ki. Something's off about him. But Goku Black sees this as a good opportunity, a way to test his powers before fighting Trunks. He just seems to be an average Saiyan. They just weren't aware that others were alive, so it's a little bit surprising, but they're not concerned. If Turles wants a fight, they could fight right now. But Turles says nah. He's gonna look for Kakarot. These two seem way too weak to be interesting. He turns back to his ship, but obviously it's not gonna work like that, especially after taunting Goku Black with that comment. Goku Black launches towards Turles, with Turles reacting quickly and countering. This guy has a little bit more power than he assumed, but he still is too weak. Turles grabs Goku Black by the neck and slams him into the ground. He says he'll ask one more time, where's Kakarot? That power he sensed before must have been Kakarot. After all these years, he finally gets to fight a strong opponent. But these two want to tell him that Kakarot's not here? What did they do with him? They have to be connected somehow, especially with this look-alike. And seeing Goku Black, he realizes it's not just some other low-class Saiyan that looks like Kakarot, he just looks exactly like Kakarot. He doesn't know what's going on here, but he's not too fond of it. And if these two are going to keep getting in his way, he'll just kill them. While holding on to Goku Black, the ground below him erupts, with Goku Black incinerated by an attack from Turles. Turles then quickly whips himself around, throwing a blast at Zamasu that seemingly incinerates him completely too. But then Turles senses something else. It feels like that power he felt before. With these two, he couldn't actually feel their power. Not until he fought Goku Black at least. But the person he's sensing now, it's Trunks, the one he sensed before. Not realizing that it is Trunks because he thought it might have just been Kakarot. He felt this far out in space and thought maybe there's some sort of interesting opponent over here. then realizing that he was actually heading towards Earth, so that's who he assumes it was. But surprisingly, it's someone he doesn't recognize. It's Trunks. Turles basically asks the same questions, wondering where Goku is. He's been waiting so long for another good fight against him. All this time in space, he's picked up on a couple different new abilities alongside the power from the Tree of Might, because planting more Trees of Might is basically all he's been doing out in space. He and Trunks fight, and Trunks does lose, but he's able to make it away from there. And amidst that, Zamasu does regenerate and leaves Earth. Did that really just happen? Goku Black died just like that? After Black roped him into this in the first place. But if he was that weak, he must be useless for the Zero Mortals plan. Besides, Zamasu is immortal, so even if he fights stronger opponents like that, he'll just live. And the best part is, that Saiyan, whoever he was, he doesn't seem to realize Zamasu is still alive. But Turles isn't going to stop that easily. He is about to track Trunks down, but then Zamasu tries to sneak attack him. Of course, this doesn't really do anything, and Turles is able to find out that he's immortal, with Zamasu teleporting way out to space, trying to formulate a new plan. Turles will come back to this planet eventually, especially to fight that other guy who appears to be a Saiyan, using what appears to be a Super Saiyan transformation too, hearing from Trunks that that's what he's using. For now, he'll search for that green guy with the big ears. That guy's going to be a lot more annoying than the Saiyan on Earth. Plus, Turles does have other trees to grow. Obviously, Trunks realized that that was Turles too, so that answers his question of where Turles was in this timeline. Eventually, he's able to return to the past, and it's actually a lot better for him. Plus, a lot sooner too. Earth isn't in ruin here, even though it is under threat. It still does take a lot of time for Bulma to get fuel for the time machine, but at least they're not being attacked here while it happens. She works as quickly as possible because they don't know what's going on in the first place. The worst part is, Trunks doesn't even know about Goku Black and Zamasu. He didn't even see them. But when Bulma hears it's Turles, she's pretty concerned, after hearing all about him from Goku and seeing him on Namek too. But it's so strange to her because from what Trunks told her, Turles was good in the present timeline. Of course, his life went very differently there, so that definitely explains it. But they never even realized that he could be their next threat. So Trunks returns to the present. And without Goku Black chasing him down, they go back to the future pretty much right away. And no one here hears about Zamasu or Goku Black either because Trunks doesn't know about it. Trunks returns to the future with Goku, Vegeta, and Turles. This is probably overkill too because they assume that the Turles in this timeline probably isn't too strong. Yeah, maybe he's strong for Trunks, but with him just being out in space, there's no way he could be that powerful. And while Trunks was gone, Turles was trying to track down Zamasu again, but couldn't find him. Zamasu is biding his time right now, and we'll be seeing more of him eventually. But future Turles eventually does sense powers arrive back on Earth. And it's not just that Super Saiyan he fought before, he senses multiple people there, so he heads back for Earth. He was going to try and find that green guy and ask what really happened with Goku, and also try and fight him because he seemed interesting. But when Turles gets back on Earth, he has a much better surprise for himself. He sees Kakarot, he sees Vegeta, he sees himself. What is this? Why is there another version of him here? And why is he dressed like that? He eyes down the present version of Turles. They each bear the same scar on their arm. The energy he has, it feels very similar to his. Not completely, but similar enough. There's no doubt about it. This is him, but he has no clue of how he got here. Turles analyzes his future self. This is a version of him that never went back to Earth. This is what he would have been like if he did that. And he knows exactly what the other Turles has been up to. Asking outright, did he ever plant more trees of might? Future Turles smirks. Of course he did. That's all he's been doing out in space. Just like Turles thought. That's what he aimed to do if he stayed out in space. Going back to Earth obviously changed these plans. But this is a Turles who remained evil, with no Goku or anyone to influence him, and more importantly, no one to draw him to Earth in the first place. It greatly changed the outcome of his life. The only two people he ever sensed on Earth were future Gohan and future Trunks, but it was never enough to entice him to come there, and by the time he even sensed those powers, of them going Super Saiyan, it was far too late for him to even be interested. In the present timeline, Trunks showed up on Earth not too long after Namek, so a Super Saiyan appeared pretty soon, but in this timeline, a Super Saiyan didn't appear for a while, and Turles had no reason to go back to Earth. Because by the time the first Super Saiyan appeared, that being Gohan, Turles was already so strong that he didn't care to go to Earth to find anyone there. And he has sensed Trunks' power flare up here and there, you know, against the androids, against Cell, but it was never anything interesting, until he fought Deborah. An all-out battle where he showed his true power, where he got Super Saiyan 2, and that's what really enticed Turles to come to Earth for the first time in this timeline. Decades after Turles came to Earth in the present timeline, and that's the reason there's a divergence between the two of them. It's Trunks. Unknowingly, him traveling to the past, that's the biggest influence on Turles. Him splitting the timelines, that's what made Turles become what he is today, or at least that's one of the big contributing factors to that. We could at least say Trunks was the catalyst there, and this Turles, he never had that. And if anyone's going to fight this other Turles, it's going to be the main Turles. He powers up, going into Mighty Saiyan, asking the other Turles to use his true power. Surely he has this by now. Future Turles says he doesn't. No, he's unlocked something far different. But he could sense the Tree of Might's power coursing through the veins of that other Turles, the one from the present timeline. The two of them are similar, and he wonders where they diverged. But this one from the future, he's purely powered by the Tree of Might, not to mention his evil nature. An ominous red aura surrounds him. The ground cracks below his feet as he floats up into the air. His hair grows longer, but not much else changes beyond that. Unlike the present Turles, he was completely uninhibited by his own nature. He remained evil, and he still is evil, actually pure evil. It did take him a long time to find another seed for the Tree of Might and start planting more, but he's had so many fruits by now, especially considering this is the future, nearly 2 decades ahead of the main timeline. And with everything that's gone differently with him, this is the culmination of all of that. This is his strongest power. He's become the legendary Evil Saiyan. That's what the form is, but he doesn't actually call it that. This is just his full power in his eyes. And President Turles kind of chuckles at this. It's like looking into a mirror. He's always wondered what he would have been like if he never went to Earth, never became the person he is today. But he's got his answer. This is the exact answer he was looking for. And that power that his future self is using, that's probably what he was looking for. The power that was latent within him, but something he couldn't access due to his nature. The two begin fighting, and much to Turles' surprise, he loses to his future self. Pretty easily, in fact. Even with Godly Ki in his Mighty Saiyan form, it's still not enough somehow. This is more than they expected. Goku and Vegeta jump into the fight too, showing off their full strength. And they're actually able to contend pretty well together. But still, this is concerning. The fact that future Turles is on this level, fighting 2 Super Saiyan Blues at once. And future Turles is absolutely elated. This is more than he could have ever hoped for. He doesn't know what that blue-haired form is, but he's glad to finally fight Kakarot again at his full strength. And consider this a rematch. Unlike their first battle on Earth, he's going to win this one, and he's going to kill Kakarot. He doesn't know where Kakarot was hiding before, but that doesn't matter now. Turles also tries to get back in the fight, but he can't really do too much, especially because when he tries to fight his future self, he's targeted by his future self, especially because future Turles wants to fight him one-on-one again. He still doesn't know where this other version of himself came from, but what better way to prove his might than to kill that other Turles? There only can be one after all. That guy's direct competition. And he does want to see more of that golden-haired form that he was using. It's different from the one that Trunks had. For now, he just faces Goku and Vegeta. And Turles is completely dumbfounded. Not only is he fighting a future version of himself, but he's losing. He lost so easily. He can't do anything here. For the past year or so, he's felt like he's been falling behind Goku and Vegeta. And this is more proof of that. He can't do anything here. They're just handling the battle. Despite everything he's done before, all the things he's accomplished, now, he's nothing. He's not doing anything. He can't even defeat himself. What kind of Saiyan is he? A red aura then flares up around Goku. Blue Kaioken, with future Turles recognizing this as well. It's been decades since he's fought Goku, of course. And fought alongside Goku against Frieza. That's the first time he's seen a familiar power in this fight. Goku takes future Turles on one-on-one by using Blue Kaioken, with Vegeta very briefly leaving the battle, going over to Turles. He asks Turles why he's sitting around. Get back into the fight. Is he really giving up that easily? And Turles says he does want to fight. He really does want to win here. But he knows the smartest option right now is to sit back and let them handle it. He's going to get in their way. The important thing now is protecting Trunks. Clearly, Turles doesn't have the power to do that right now, nor the willpower. But Vegeta grabs onto Turles' shirt, pulling him up and yelling in his face. That's not how a Saiyan should act. That's not how he should act. And while it seems like Vegeta's angry at Turles, Trunks could pretty easily tell. He's trying to motivate Turles. It's so surprising considering the last time you saw these two, they absolutely hated each other. And Vegeta's way of interacting with people is strange to say the least, but Trunks could easily tell what this is. As Turles watches Goku fight future Turles, Vegeta asks him a question. Is he really the mighty Saiyan he claims to be if he can't even beat himself? It's exactly the same thing that Turles was thinking to himself just now. It's like Vegeta read his mind. And even if they can't win here, it's at least worth the battle. Who cares about him getting in the way? It's better than him sitting back and doing nothing. Where's that pride of his, that desire for strength? Maybe he's grown complacent. Maybe that's why he's falling behind. He hasn't had a true battle in so long, something that's really challenging him. And this is the perfect opportunity for that. If Turles wants to reinvent himself, if Turles wants to catch up to him and Kakarot, Vegeta says he has to do this. The only way to improve himself is to defeat himself. And if he can't overcome that, he's always going to be stuck behind. It's now or never. It's time to display that power that he has, that willpower to win. And you know, Vegeta's right. He never would have thought Vegeta of all people would be giving him a pep talk, pushing him to go forward. And he thanks Vegeta. He goes back into Mighty Saiyan. He can't believe he didn't see it before. He can't believe he gave up that easily here. He's had these feelings of doubt for so long, but not any longer. This is the way to overcome it. This is the way to improve himself. A red glow starts bubbling around Turles. Different from his usual aura, he jumps back into the fight, knowing he's on the verge of something new, a new revelation of sorts. And future Turles is glad to see him back in the fight, but reminds his present self, he's not going to go easy here. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part and what's going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel and shows me you want to see more like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.